Good morning. How we doing this morning? I was going to perform that myself, but don't really have the pipes for it. All right, we wanted to get together. I hope everybody's having a good first week so far. I hope everything went well yesterday. I know a lot of you are new and you're trying to get accustomed to things around here and the way things work and finding your way around. But so far, if you have any questions, you can go to anyone and ask. We've had a lot of questions about things, and we'll be glad to answer those questions. We want you to be able to navigate around the campus well and know what's going on. We have several things we want to talk about, and just to go over some things, because there's things that are in the handbook and things about parking and things like that. And I'm going to let Officer Mike come up in just a minute. I think he's going to be coming up, first after I'm done. But we're going to go over some things so about some of these that you may not see in the handbook, because I know you guys are avid readers of the handbook, and I know that every once in a while you may miss something. I think the only ones that really know the handbook seem to be the ones that write it in detention. So we'll go over a few things. Looking forward to this year. Looking forward to seeing what God's got in store for you as a student, for us as a staff, as a school. And that's what we need to be looking for. We need to be thinking about honoring God with our actions, no matter, whether you agree with some of the stuff that we talk about tonight or not, or today or not. You need to do what you're supposed to do. It's about integrity. And I've had conversations over the last couple of days about rules and about things, and people don't agree with this and they don't agree with that, and I understand all that. Everybody doesn't agree. Everybody doesn't have the same convictions about everything. But when it comes down to when there are rules or when there are things that we're supposed to go by, it's a matter of integrity. Are you going to have character and integrity, or are you going to try to get by and slide by all the time? Is that how you're going to live life? I hope not, because there's always going to be things that you don't agree with. There are things in this country, there are laws that are passed every day in this country that I do not agree with. Things that I don't agree with because they're somebody else's philosophy. They're not my philosophy. I don't share those things. However, I understand I live in this country, I live in this county, and I have to abide by those rules. I don't necessarily agree with them. But that's what we have to do. That's what God commands us to do. He commands us to be obedient to the authorities and to His Word. So I challenge you to do that. We're in a special place. This is a good school. I really think that God's brought you here for a reason, and I think that a lot of us take it for granted, even as a place to work. This is a great place to work. And we're fortunate that we can come and work and live and go to school in a private institution where we can feel free to express our beliefs without worrying about everybody else telling us what we can and can't do. However, it comes with a price sometimes. So let's go over a few things. And first of all, new this year, I know we talked about the last year of absences. And one thing that we've added this year for absences, we have a lot of kids that end up in Saturday school for seat time. And you have so many days. You miss 18, 19 days, and you have all these hours accumulated, and it's so hard to do that, so hard to take care of that. So what we've had to do this year is say, look, if you can't come to school, if you miss more than 10 days, then you're going to have seat time for at least 4 hours. You'll have up to 4 hours of seat time for a class, and that's it. After that, it's a letter grade drop. So if you hit that 15th day, of absence, no matter if it's excused or unexcused. I understand you have good reasons for being out sometimes, but 15 days in a semester, that's a lot, and that's going to cost you a letter grade. And if you get to 20 days, you're going to be 2 letter grades. Now, a lot of you say, who would miss 20 days? Well, there's kids, a lot of kids last year that missed it. So we need to address it, and that's how we're going to do it. It will affect your grade, so I want you to be aware of that. I don't want you to wait until it's almost time, and then all of a sudden you hear that. So that is something that was added this year. Keep in mind about the checkout policy. I know a lot of you have to check out for certain reasons. Remember that the checkout, how many times you check out and how many times you miss class has to do with your exemptions. It will affect your exemptions. So be sure and look over those rules on the exemptions. Know them. Know that discipline will affect your exemptions. But on the checkout policies, remember the main things. For instance, checking out for lunch. It's not an open campus where we just come and go. I want to go out and eat today, so I'll see you. I'm signing out, Miss Michelle, and I'm gone. It's not how it works. The only way you're going to check out for lunch or allowed to check out for lunch is if your mom or dad comes up here, your mom or dad, not someone else's to sign you out. Your mom or dad comes up here and signs you out. If it's your birthday and they want to take you out for lunch, I can't stop that from happening. I don't plan on it. However, they need to come up and sign you out. You and 7 or 8 of your buddies from the baseball team decides you want to go out for lunch. That's not going to happen. Okay, you're not supposed to do that. So remember that if you miss more than 15 minutes of fifth period, that means IF with your lunch included. You get an absence for that fifth period. So it's going to affect you when you get your exemptions, and you need to be aware of that. There are other rules about checkouts, and for the most part, those have been abided by the last couple of years. Not checking out during chapel, not checking out during the middle of seventh period. You need to take care of that before seventh period starts. Hand in a note to your teacher. You need to bring a note before school to Miss Michelle that you're checking out at a certain time. Getting emails from your mom or dad in the middle of the day because you feel like you're just ready to go home. You don't think we're doing anything today. You want to go home, and I get these emails. Those aren't supposed to be honored. We're not supposed to take emails from a parent. We don't even know who they're coming from. So you need to make sure that you take care of checkouts the way they're supposed to be done. Mr. McClure is going to talk to you a little bit about dress code, but the one thing I wanted to bring up for dress code is these yellow slips, okay, and these warning slips. They're just warning slips. The handbook actually says that if you have a dress code violation, it's detention. But a couple of years ago, we decided to give some grace there and say, hey, we're going to give you a couple of written warnings so you know that you're about to have detention if you break these rules. So that's for the year, though. Those yellow slips aren't accumulated every quarter. So if you were in middle school and it was handled differently, it's for the year. You get 2 warnings for the year. The third one is detention, and after that's detention every time. So be aware of that. And of course, I said know the exemption policy. There are some other things that and cell phones. We don't, if you're new to the school and the school system you were in before allowed you to get your cell phone out and use it for any reason, it doesn't happen here. We have devices that you can use. You use your own device. We have a policy on that, and I'm going to read a little bit of that policy for Miss Fairley. She couldn't be here. But be aware that phones aren't out at any time, not to tell time, not to do anything. It's an automatic detention. And y'all have dealt with it before in the high school. We don't make exceptions. It's automatic. So keep your cell phones put up when you go to the restroom. You hand your cell phone over to your teacher. When you're taking tests or quizzes, teachers take them up beforehand. So keep that in mind, and we're going to abide by that. Also, here's some things for technology that she wanted me to pass on. She couldn't be here today. Students must register their new devices or any device that wasn't registered last year. So if you did not have it registered, if it's a new device, please see her. All devices will be registered electronically this year, and no paper forms will be accepted. Instructions on how to register your device are available at Miss Michelle's desk. So go get that, check that out, especially if you have a new device. Only the ELFBC Wi-Fi is available for students. No other Wi-Fi is accessible for students. The old one that said ELCA, that ELCA one that we had several students getting on, that thing it's disappeared, so you can't get on anyway. You don't need to be on staff Wi-Fi. If your parents work here, you are not to be on the staff Wi-Fi. You are to be on the ELFBC Wi-Fi, which is for students. There will be a student IT help desk that will be open on Mondays and Fridays during the break from 9:39 to 9:49 on the brick walkway for students needing assistance with devices or accessing the Wi-Fi. Mr. Joe McFarland, who is the new ELCA IT support technician, will be available to assist you during this time. So if you have questions, you want some help with your device or getting something synced, he'll be glad to take care of that. But that's going to be Mondays and Fridays. I think she's talking about the commons area outside her office. Flyers containing all this information are available at Miss Michelle's desk, and please let Miss Fairley know if you have any questions. She's always available to answer questions about that. Okay, so I'm going to let, where's Officer Mike? Is he here? We'll let Officer Mike come up, and then Mr. McClure's coming. We have a couple other people. Mr. Allen's going to talk to you for a minute, and so is Ms. Pender. Seniors will stay back when we're done. We're going to release for break at like 9:55. You still have break today. You'll need to be back in class at 10:12. But when we release, you stay back if you're a senior, because we need to give you some quick details on the rafting trip.
Thank you, Mr. Campbell. For those of you who may not know me, my name is Mike Harrelson, and I'm the school resource officer. I'm here as a resource for you, all right? I'm not here to watch you on cameras, see what all you're doing in the parking lot, see what you're doing in the hallways, even though it is being recorded, and if we need to, we can go back, all right? We have cameras everywhere. Everybody seems to forget that each year. So outside of restrooms, obviously, everywhere, just about everywhere else, there's cameras. All right, I'm here for you. I'm here to keep you safe, secure. All right, so a lot of what I'm talking about today is because stuff has happened in the past and people have either got in trouble or have got hurt. Okay, so no, there's no riding in pickup trucks. That's an insurance. If you fall out back of a truck and break your neck or worse, the church and school can be held liable for you. All right, I'm not saying they're going to pay, but it's going to be an ugly scene. We're all going to get dragged into court, and someone could get sued, and it's just going to be ugly. So the insurance company does not allow us to allow students to ride in back of pickup trucks. So saying that, there should not be any football players driving around to the back. I know it's a long day, hot day, you're tired. Now, if you're parents, I know parents come back there. That's between you and the coaches. But students are not allowed, football players are not allowed to drive to the back. The exception to that is softball players. Softball players are allowed to drive back, mainly because they have bats and helmets and all that gear. Okay, so they are the exemption during the fall sports to drive around back. Okay. Vehicle forms are up here. If you're driving a vehicle, we're giving them that time today to do that. They'll have time today to do that. Fill the forms out. We need those forms filled out today and turned in today, if all possible. It's first come, first serve. I need your name. Okay, we don't do stickers anymore. You pick a spot. Every number, your vehicle should be in a numbered spot. By now, if you've been here long enough, you know the senior lot is closest to the driveway. Sophomores and juniors are towards the middle. All right, if there's any question, you ask me or Coach Campbell or McClure or Miss Michelle. Those forms need to be turned in today. We're going to start writing tickets on Monday, a week from yesterday, a week this coming Monday. All right. The reason for that is all kinds of things happen with vehicles in the parking lot. You would be surprised how many people leave their car running, lock the door, and come into school. It happens 8 or 10 times a year. All right, and then I'm doing patrols, and I walk up on a car that's running, and it's locked. All right, or you leave your door wide open, you leave your trunk open, or whatever, like your lights are on. All right, so it benefits you. Yes, I can call radio and get the tag, but I'd rather not. I'd rather just look at my spreadsheet and say, hey, Michael Brown left his headlights on. All right, so I go find Michael Brown in class, and then we get the headlights turned off. All right, so we need that done this week. As Mr. Campbell said yesterday, because of middle school, high school letting out, you cannot make that left-hand turn going towards the back from 3:15 to 3:30. You can park in the back before school, and then we've changed the rule where you can, during 7th period, you can get to the back, all right, but you need to do that in a timely manner. That's not an excuse of being late to Coach Guess's class or someone else's class. You need to get back there in a time-efficient manner. So it's just traffic was bad yesterday, and that's to be expected. It will get better, but we don't need 30 students trying to make a left-hand turn. It's going to be set up where you can't. If for some reason you just absolutely have to, you need to go off campus, come back onto the south driveway where we direct traffic, and then you'll be able to go to the back if you just have to get back there after between 3:15 and 3:30. This is the last thing. I'm asking you for your safety, everybody's safety in this building, not to prop the doors open. Okay? That's in the world that we live in. If you see a door propped open, I'm asking you to unprop it. And don't open doors for somebody. It's a bad habit. You get in the habit of opening a door for even a student. A stranger walks up. Are you going to have the courage to say, no, you can't come in? Probably not. We see it on camera. We catch people from time to time. We have people just walk, believe it or not, we've had people, they're looking for money, they're looking for food. All they see is a church, and they're wanting food. All right? We don't have food here. We don't keep money here. All right? The church is in another building, so it's for your safety as well as everyone else. And I just encourage you not to prop doors open, not to let people in the building. It's just a very bad habit. If I can ever be a resource for you, I can't say, people come to me from time to time about getting out of a speeding ticket or, whatever kind of ticket. I can't get you out of a ticket. I can help you somewhat through that process. I'm not an attorney, but, some people, you've never gone to court before, you kind of, the fear of the unknown. But if I can be a resource to you, I'm here all day, every day, and I'd be glad to help you out. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Officer Mike. Hey, guys, just a couple of things I want to talk to you about real quick. Dealing with my office, just dress code. Guys, I want you guys just fall in line. You guys know the handbook. A couple of things I do want to reiterate to you guys is make sure, guys, keep making sure your shirts are tucked in. I want you looking nice throughout the day. Wearing a belt, that seems to be an issue at times. So what we're probably going to do is have some belts in the office or over in the store. Or if you got to purchase one, you got to purchase one. Make sure you guys are coming in dressed, ready to go. Guys, your haircuts, majority of you guys look good. You've done a good job. But some of you guys still need to get it trimmed up, get that taken care of this week. We want that taken care of. Again, because remember, as Coach said, he alluded to earlier, the yellow slips, they accrue. They just don't go away. So I would hate for a student to keep, next thing you know, almost every Wednesday in their detention because something with dress code, which is a very, very simple thing to fix. It's not really a hard thing that we're asking you. Okay, so guys, make sure you guys get that taken care of. Friday wear, let me talk about Friday wear real quick. Sometimes we have a misunderstanding about Friday wear. Friday wear, basically, you pay $1, and that goes to different mission organizations. The school does not keep that money. That goes off to those organizations. And you guys have the opportunity to just dress down that day. But what I've noticed in the past, of course, I've been in middle school for the last 6-7 years, but what I've also noticed is there's a trend that sometimes I can pay the $1 and I can wear what I want. And guys, that's not really what it's about. Or we have situations where students don't pay the $1. And really, I'll cut to the chase. What you're doing is you're saying it's all about me and not about anybody else. All right? And so I want you guys, when you do that, when you put your jeans on that morning, whatever kind of different pants you put on, put $1. Put it in your pocket. You can pay up front. If my numbers are right, and someone can help me out, I think it's about $18 a semester. I think what it ends up being about $36 a year. So if you want to pay up front at the high school office, just pay $36. And you're taken care of. We'll let your homeroom teacher know that. It's taken care of. That's an easy way for you to remember those things, okay? But what I don't want is I feel like sometimes, especially when it starts getting colder, we start wearing different kinds of outerwear. We start wanting to try to do different things. Guys, that's not what it's about. You guys can wear your elk outerwear. That's the day you guys can wear your hoodies, athletic hoodies, all those kinds of things, because I know we got a ton of them out there. So, guys, let's make sure that we're falling in line with that. And also to go along with Coach, what he's talked about, the cell phones. Guys, that's not something that goes away either. That does not start over every quarter. That's for the year. I know for a fact many students were in detention quite a bit all the way to Saturday school because they did not learn. Okay, our biggest thing, guys, what we want you to do is learn from your mistake and fix it so it doesn't happen again. And we want to give you those opportunities to do so also. So, guys, I'm excited about this year. I'm excited to be in the high school with you guys. If you have any questions about any of the stuff that I'm talking about, feel free to stop by my office. We can talk about it. I know outside my office there's a bulletin board. I put the Friday wear stuff up there. Last thing, let me talk about chapel. Coach Allen's going to talk about chapel here in a second, but I'm going to have Miss Pender come up here in a minute. Chapel, guys, it's going to be a little bit different this year. But when we come in, when we have combined chapels, which Coach Allen, if I remind me correctly there, we're not going to have a lot of those, but here for the next few weeks we will. And when we do so, seniors, you guys are going to be up here on the front, all right? Juniors, you're going to be over here in this area. Freshmen will be in the back, and then sophomores there. And teachers, what we've asked you to do is whatever class that you had at that moment, coming out of second period, you sit with that class. You be there with them. And Coach Allen's going to talk more about chapel schedule, accountability groups. There's some really cool things that are going on this year, trying to be a little more intentional with you guys. All right? Guys, I'm looking forward to a great year. And like I said, if you have any questions, please feel free to come by my office. I want to help you out. But again, let's make this a great year, and let's get things taken care of. Miss Pender, why don't you come on up and talk about a few things, and after that, Coach Allen.
Okay, good morning. My name is Ms. Pender, and I've been here, this is my 15th year. I've taught a bunch of you in 7th grade or maybe even 3rd grade. I'm here to help the girls and to hold the girls accountable for their uniforms. Girls, if you have any questions about your uniforms, please come see me. I'm also I'm mainly in the middle school, high school library. So if you have anything, if you need any questions, any of you, if you need anything, I'm more than happy to help you. Girls, you can't wear skirts. Skirts are out. They've been out for 2 years as far as being sold. I know some of you have siblings that have passed them down to you. It's not a matter of whether or not you think they're long enough, look good enough, make the rules, follow the rules. You can't wear a skirt, period. Okay? You have to wear a skirt. And guess what? The skirt, between the skirt and the skirt has to come to your knee. That's touching your knee, the top of your knee. Okay? It can't be 1 inch, 2 inch, 4 inches above your knee. Okay? It has to be touching your knee. If you have any questions about the length of your skirt and whether or not it follows the rules, then you can come and see me. If I see you with something that's not appropriate on, then I'm going to talk to you about it. Okay? Some of you I've already had to talk to you about it. I will talk to you one time. We will discuss whether or not you have more skirts, whether you need to purchase a skirt. I am as well going to have some where that I will bill to your account. But after I've talked to you one time, you'll get a yellow slip, and then like they said, after 2 yellow slips, it'll be an automatic detention. Okay? You know, there are rules in life, just like what Mr. Campbell said, that you're not going to agree with, that you're not going to like. Just like Eagles Landing Parkway, drive up and down it all the time. It's 45 miles per hour. I don't like that. I think it's wrong. But you know what? Nobody asked me, and I know that if I'm not following the speed limit, guess what? I'm going to suffer the consequences. I follow the rule to keep from suffering the consequences, whether I agree with it or not. Just know that if you choose, and you're making a choice when you put on something that's inappropriate, okay, you're choosing to break the rule, then you're going to get the consequences. It's plain and simple. I think, okay, it's a matter of integrity, like Mr. Campbell said, and character, and that you need to do the right thing. It's a matter of your heart, and you need to do the right thing without somebody asking you, without somebody making you, and without somebody having to punish you. It says in the Bible, obey your leaders and submit to them, for they are keeping watch over your souls, as those who will have to give an account. Let them do this with joy and not with groaning, for that would be of no advantage to you. Hebrews 13:17. We all have authority. You're going to have authority for the rest of your life. You might as well reconcile it now and just accept it and follow it and not have to suffer any negative consequences. Again, if you need anything, library-wise, girls with uniforms, come and see me. I'll be more than happy to help you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Pender. Just one quick thing about chapel. We're going to do some different things in chapel this year. Basically, for the first month of August, we're going to be in here, and it will be combined chapels with high school and middle school. So you'll sit where you're sitting now for those. Basically, starting in September, we're going to start accountability groups. At that time, accountability groups will be divided this year by grade level, so you'll be somebody in your grade level. And we're going to have when we have separate chapels, all throughout the year, we will have certain times where we will have combined middle and high school chapels. But for the most part, after August, we're going to have only high school chapels. And 1 week we'll have possibly 11th and 12th grade in chapel. While they're in chapel, 9th and 10th will be an accountability group. Next week, 9th and 10th will go to chapel, and 11th and 12th will have accountability group. This allows us, we may just have a 12th grade chapel. We may just have a 9th grade chapel. We may just have a girls 11th grade, girls 12th grade chapel. So it's going to give us some flexibility. We're going to have some student-led chapels this year. A lot of your classmates are going to do some chapels this year. And we're going to have people speaking to you that love you and care about you. And it's going to be in a little bit smaller group. When we have chapels, 11th and 12th grade chapels, they're going to be in the chapel area over there. They're going to be over there. So most of your chapels will be over in that chapel for this year. So if you got any questions, I think tomorrow, we'll start tomorrow after second period. All high school chapels are after second period. So you'll come in here tomorrow, sitting where you're sitting now, and we're going to have a great time in chapel this year. Who's up, Coach?
All right. Glad to see Mr. Allen is going to be handling that for us this year. He's our spiritual life director. He's going to be handling chapels and anything, all these different things where we need some special attention to it. He's doing a great job with it, and he's the perfect person for it, and we're excited about it. Just to clarify one thing, Officer Mike had mentioned about softball players being a drive back there, and I heard some snickering like, okay, it's softball players because that's Coach Campbell's. No, that has nothing to do with it. It's any spring sport, the spring sports or the fall sports that use that locker room down there. That's why. So that means girls soccer, they use that locker room. In the spring, they'll be able to drive down there. And the same with boys baseball because they use that locker room. That's where their stuff is, their clothes, that's where you are. Everybody else has a locker room up here at the main building, so there's no reason to be driving down there just for your convenience so you don't have to walk. That's not why. It's because all your stuff is there. So that's the reason. I'm not going to cause you to lose break today because we had this assembly here, and we're on chapel schedule. So right now, everyone except the seniors, you guys head on to break. And I'll tell you, everybody needs to be in class. I think the bell schedule says 10:12. So that's 10:12 is when you need to be back in third period class. Go ahead and take your break. Seniors, stay here so we can really give you some quick details on the rafting trip, and then you can be released.
If you're driving, you need a driving form off the stage.